Hey everyone, Dr. Nicole here. So have you started a supplement regimen or even started a certain medication to resolve some of the symptoms that you've been dealing with, and you felt really great initially and then you felt like you hit a plateau? This is something that I often hear from different clients that I work with, that they made some changes to their lifestyle, to their diet, and even started a round of supplements or even again medications, and they felt a lot better from making those initial changes. But they felt like as they continued on the same regimen that initially made them feel so great, that they capped out at a certain point. And this is something that does happen, and it is actually very normal for this to happen. And the reason being is because as we utilize different types of nutrients, supplements, herbs, nutraceuticals, medications, our body will actually adapt and not be able to utilize them as best as when we first started. So it is actually best to consider rechecking in on your system anywhere between 2.5 to 3 months after starting a regimen. So this is really significant because there are many of you out there that potentially have been taking your multivitamin or even your vitamin D or your B vitamin for maybe months, maybe even years. And you assume that you should continue to take it because it's going to give you benefit and everybody's supposed to be taking a multivitamin. But at the same time, it might not be working anymore. You might not be absorbing it the way you did when you first started. So this is one of the reasons why we use something called autonomic response testing in our practice, because this actually allows us to test the body for what supplements are best. And then we also will be able to recheck in on the body to make sure that we're not continuing supplements that are not actually working anymore. I always say if you're peeing bright yellow, you want to reconsider what you're taking, because you might actually have very expensive urine because most of your supplements are not being absorbed properly anymore. So this is something that's just so key to keep in mind, because obviously if you are, spending the time and spending the money on taking very specific supplements, nutraceuticals, you want to absolutely make sure that they are working for your body. And if they are working, it does make sense that your body should change and become healthier over time, which would then require your body to need different types of nutrients. So there are very strategic ways that you can know exactly what the body needs to start the healing process. And again, this was something that we incorporated into the practice, because what I found myself doing is that I was using different types of lab testing to see what was going on with the patient, and then from there we would make cookie cutter supplement recommendations, and that was the best protocol that was known for that specific condition. And some people did do well with it, and there were other people that hit a plateau. So I really felt that I wanted to work towards a way to actually be able to test the body to know exactly what nutrients it needed. And the way we filled that void was through the autonomic response testing. And this is a therapy that was actually created by Dr. Klinghardt, for those of you that are familiar. And it is a form of muscle testing that we utilize. It is a very advanced version, so it is not comparable to applied kinesiology and some of the other styles of muscle testing. But this allows for us to know exactly where the body is at and what nutrients it is going to respond to. And this is also not necessarily about just relying on the autonomic response testing, but it's also, I always am taking my clinical experience into consideration, because if I work with someone who I know has a lot of gastrointestinal issues and they are coming up for what I call replenishment nutrients, which are things like vitamin D, B vitamins, minerals, I might not choose to give them those nutrients despite their body needing them, because there is going to be an absorption issue. So sometimes we need to do some groundwork on getting the gastrointestinal system cleaned up before we can actually bring in the replenishment and then allow your body to actually use it properly. So It's all about specificity and being as comprehensive as possible, and then also taking into consideration that the body does change over time. And it's really just a matter of making sure that we're always checking in and knowing where the body is at and knowing what it needs at that time. And this is really the most comprehensive way to do medicine. So I hope this was of value to you. Check us out, integrativewellnessgroup.com, to learn more about the autonomic response testing. And there is actually a wonderful article that was written by Dr. Mercola, where you can also find more information about the autonomic response testing. All right, guys, thank you so much.